What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the round 2 Showdown show here. I got my guy Drew with me again to break down round 2 of the Memorial here. And as you're coming in, please hit the like and subscribe. It really helps bring this free shows to you. Here we've got NBA in full swing here with the finals starting tonight. We got a bunch of content for that, MLB, everything else, all sports, one price, NASCAR, MMA, everything's going here. And we've got a new promo code here for the month of June here. June 1st, we're going to start it off with a new summer promo here. Summer 33 is going to get you 33% off your first week monthly package here at Run Pure Sports with all the sports, one price. And it's even going to include SaberSim, which is the biggest offer we've ever had for the SaberSim product there at 33% off. So head on over, join the movement here. Drew, what's going on, man? How was round 1 for you today? How's your teams looking after the first wave? There were some big numbers out there, and then there's some pretty good names near the top as well.
Yeah, knock on wood, the first round has been pretty good. Better than last week, at least. So we'll see how it goes. If anyone's watching tonight's show, watch last night. My connection gets a little bit spotty, so Snyder, if it gets choppy, just yell at me. But I'll do my best to talk slow, and hopefully the 5G holds on. But, yeah, it definitely looked better today, so I'm excited to see how tomorrow goes. I had some low-owned guys like Eckroad play pretty well. Siwoo was still pretty low-owned, and then interestingly enough, we'll obviously get to it, but I think a lot of guys we talked about in Showdown last week popped today and are obviously going to be Showdown candidates, but like David Lipsky. I mean, how do we not talk about him for the full week? Maybe you did on Tuesday night, but I know I didn't talk about him yesterday. And it's a bit frustrating because I think we talked about him Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday, or y'all talked about him Saturday probably last week. So you start taking some notes, maybe get the members to take some notes. But yeah, definitely looking better. How about you? How's your lineups looking?
They're looking all right. I'm happy that Morikawa fought back. I'm overweight on him.
Yeah.
It was looking rough early, but he somehow battled back there at the end, which is good. I am way overweight on Scotty, so hopefully he can kind of bounce back. I'm not too worried about him. I know he did lose 3 strokes putting again today, which seems to be a common occurrence with him. Every time he tees it up, he just torches tee to green and then just loses it all with the flat stick there. Talking about Lipsky there, yeah, he had a round there. He was actually 500 at one point and then doubles 16 there, which is interesting. Actually, that was his. Looking back on it, that was the front 9. He played the back 9 first. So, yeah, it's interesting there. Shane Lowry was another guy I was way overweight on. He started out on fire there. He was 500 through 6, making 5 straight birdies after 10 there. But, yeah, we can did you have any Lowry? Were you on him? I can't remember if –
No, I was anti-Lowry, actually. I haven't been playing much. He hasn't been playing very well. So I just he's not a stud in my opinion. Like I love the guy and I always root for him, but he's just not one of those guys that you could call like a Spieth. Like Spieth could go miscut 2 in a row and like, yeah, you probably want to play Spieth this week. It's just weird. But yeah, no Lowry for me this week, but plenty of other guys up here.
Yeah, my Soldiers are absolutely tragic today. I mean, every one shot is absolutely a million over. It was overweight Harmon. He shoots 5 over, lost 3 strokes approach, which I don't think I would envision him doing that. They had a couple double bogeys today, which was definitely hurtful. My guy
he's
Ryan
tricky though. He's tricky because he's been rough, and then he shows a little bit of signs of life, and you're like, okay, well maybe this is his turn, and he just reverts right back. So
definitely
it gets tricky. With Brian Harmon.
Definitely. My guy Ryan Fox shot 40 on the back 9. That definitely didn't help his cause there. And then freaking Strill Daddy, he just had all sorts of troubles today. Made a triple and a double and a handful of bogeys. So rough scene for the Soldiers this week. Hopefully they can battle through. Yeah. Maybe 1 or 2 of them can make the cut somehow. But yeah, we can kick this off here. We'll go leaderboard style tonight. Run through this. I know a lot of people are probably watching the NBA Finals as well too. As they have this on or have that on in the background. We'll kick it off here with Davis Riley as the first-round leader. He'll be an easy cross-off for me. Him and Matt Walsh both. Probably Willett as well. Usually don't like to play many guys near the top, and it's going to be some easy cross-offs for me up here to the top. I mean, I don't think I'm going to play Hubbard either. I mean, what are you seeing up here at the top? We'll go the top 9 guys here, -3 and up.
Yeah, so it's tempting, to be honest. Of all the guys, I wouldn't typically go to anyone in the lead, and it kind of stinks that Riley, he passed Wallace there at the end there. But he played really well, and he gets an AM tee time. And AM had about a 2-stroke advantage today. No help from Chad Ramey, who took a 13 on his last hole today to shoot 88, I think it was, which is rough. Hate to even say that number, but to be honest, man, I think I'll play some Riley. I think for as well as anybody else has been playing in the field. Obviously in GPPs you can pivot away, but I think for like even single entry at 7,100, he played extremely well, and I could see him getting off to an early start and shooting 5 under again, or even shooting 3 under, because we saw the scores are all over the place. As far as Showdown today, I don't know if like Morikawa or was close to an optimal with having 4 birdies, or if it was need to have 5 or 6. But Riley played extremely well. He has only 1 of 4 inside of 12 feet. Played the par 5s well, and at 7,100, I will go back to some Davis Riley. I'm with you on Wallace, on Hubbard. No, thank you. I'm not interested in that. I'll have a little bit of Lipsky, and the other guy that's teeing off here in the AM is Jordan Spieth, which is really tough to get to, man. He was all over the place, so I'll probably avoid. So for the most part, I think these guys are all going off in the afternoon, except for those 3 I just mentioned: Davis, Riley, Spieth, and Lipsky. And I would just have exposure to Lipsky and Riley in that scenario. The rest, I just don't play it. They're fine. The other guys that are fine are Eckroat and Hadwin, but I just don't plan to play them if they're teeing off in the afternoon.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I realize Spieth is a wizard around the greens at times. He gained almost 3 strokes around the green.
He holed out a bunker shot on 12, I think, or somewhere on the back 9. But he was all
10.
over the place,
like
man.
10.
Was it 10? Okay. Yeah, it's
he's been
a little bit scrappy.
He was break even with the iron, so I don't think I'm going to go there. I'll let other people go there. But kind of looking at the weather, as we mentioned, you mentioned the AM advantage today. It looks like the AM is going to see a pretty good potential advantage again tomorrow. I'm seeing, I'm looking at Windfinder right now, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 AM. So all 5 of those hours in the morning, it looks like winds are going to be under 10 miles an hour, right in that 2 to 5 mile an hour range for the majority of the time there. And then about 11 a.m., the winds start to kind of ramp up again. And we saw today in the afternoon, the winds got to swirl, and they played tough there. Could see some winds right around 15 miles an hour or so in the afternoon. So I think the AM guys will definitely be something we will be targeting here. And I like Mr. Lipsky there. He goes out super early, 7:12 a.m. or 7:12 a.m. -3. You mentioned pre-show. We were on him pretty much every day last week, so I think I'm going to go right back to him at 6,500. Cheap price tag. I'm going to go right there.
Salary should not be a concern tomorrow, because there's a lot of guys. I mean, we even saw it today. I mean, half of the guys in the top 20 are sub 70, 200. Like, a lot of 6K guys playing well.
Definitely. I'm going to probably go back to my guy Lowry if I did play an afternoon guy. He can play well on the wind. He was good across the board today, except for off the tee. He lost a little bit, but he was good with the short game with the irons. I was on him coming into the week, so I might go back to him if I was going to play an AM or a PM guy. But that's pretty much it here for the morning guys. I think it might just be Lipsky for me, and maybe just fade the rest of these guys. That will definitely get yourself different in tournaments, I think, as a lot of people will still look to play some of these guys who played well today. So interesting to look at. We can dive into this. The -1 range is pretty big. Let's just hit these -2 guys first, and then we'll dive into about the 15 or so guys that are in at the -1. -2, we've got Rogers, Sue, Wyndham, Power, Rahm, Scott, and M. Rahm played a lot better today. He lost strokes putting too. He lost about a full stroke putting today. Started out a little slow. Didn't make a birdie until his 8th hole, and then made a bogey on his 9th hole, but kind of caught fire there towards the end. What are you seeing here with these -2 guys?
Yeah, so all the guys in the -2 tee off in the afternoon. So what I will say is this would be a good range to play the studs, and even in -1s, which we'll talk about here in a second, I would be playing the studs, and Rahm's a perfect candidate at 10-9, easy to get to. He'll be a little bit more popular than Scheffler, I believe. But, I mean, the dude played phenomenal. I mean, really, really well. I would see him getting into contention tomorrow. He was 27% better than the field in driving accuracy, 32% better in weighted greens and regulation. So struck it really well. He was 3 of 7 inside of 18 feet, 2 of 5 inside of 12 feet. So I think Rahm's due for a really good round. And obviously he's played this golf course extremely well, so that helps. The other guys in this range, I think Adam Scott is totally fine to go back to. He's a guy we talked about for the full week. He gained some strokes putting today, but I'm not concerned with it. His iron play was still really good as far as opportunities. And I don't think anyone else. Yeah, the bottom of that range, at least for me, Sue, Power, and Rogers are just all out. I'm not gonna play them. So for me, it's really like the big guys, obviously Rahm and Adam Scott, and that's really it. I wouldn't hate it if you go back to Sung Jae Im. He played pretty well, tee to green, but yeah. So we'll say Rahm, Sung Jae, and Adam Scott for me.
Yeah, I like that too. I think I'm pretty much in lockstep with you there. I think for sure with Scott and Rahm, I don't know if I'll get to Sung Jae or not. I mean, he played great today, tee to green. He's definitely a guy that's a positive regression kind of guy there.
He's just been all over the place.
Yeah,
he's been terrible the last couple weeks. So like I didn't play him this week, and now he bounces back. So like for reference, obviously every tee shot it's plus or minus in strokes gained. For Sung Jae Im, he gained on 86% of his tee shots was positive, and on 86% of his approaches were positive. So like he was gaining on every single shot he hit almost, which is phenomenal. So yeah, I would be tempted to ride it out and see if Sung Jae found something.
Definitely, for sure. I like that call there. He's only $9K too, so that's a really tasty price tag for him there. So I do like Adam Scott as well. He was kind of all over the place as well. Today he made 5 birdies, an eagle, and 4 bogeys. Quite the interesting scorecard there. He played the par 5s really good today at 4 under on the 4.
He did, yeah.
We'll get back to Scott. I was on him coming into the week pretty hard, so I'm going to go right back to him probably. Justin Sue at 7,200. Maybe if I needed a cheap guy, but I think I'm just going to prioritize some of these morning guys. I think we'll find enough value morning guys. I have enough him for the main slate, so that's fine there.
Suh hit it okay. He just didn't hit it super close. He played the par 5s pretty good, 200 par on the par 5. So he just doesn't stand out. And going out in the afternoon, I just want to see a little bit more conviction in the numbers for a guy like Suh.
Yeah, he was great with the flat stick, but absolutely horrible around the green, it looks like. So, yeah, interesting there. And then we can dive into this -1 range. If you haven't already, hit the like and subscribe. Really helps bring this stuff to you guys for free. -1 guys here. We got quite a few guys here, about 16 guys it looks like. My guy Morikawa's in here. He bounced back strong today. I was kind of a little worried after that front 9, but he finished strong, making 3 birdies coming in. We got Siwoo Kim. I think we were both pretty high on him coming into the week. He played well. He played well on the front 9. The back 9 wasn't the greatest for him. He shot 1 over on the back 9. What are you seeing here on this -1 range? Sam Bennett is here. Remember him? He was at the PGA, wasn't he?
He was, yeah. Someone brought him up last night. Yeah. He just shot 75, 74, 71, 75 at the NCAA. So I was like, nah, you don't play him at the Memorial. But apparently he does well on these bigger tracks. So kudos to him. But yeah, in this range, again, looking at guys I can spend up on, I think guys that would stand out to a lot of people is like Morikawa, obviously, with the iron play. I don't know. I don't really have a great pulse on the ownership, but to be honest, if there's ever a perfect recipe for a Cantley low round, it's when he played poorly on paper. He drove it actually really well, in my opinion, and on a golf course that he's won twice. I think Cantley at 10-4 is like the low owned guy. I think people would spend up the Rahm if they could, or they go down and they play like a Morikawa. I think Cantley in the AM, man, is due for a good round one of these days. So I think the easy plug is like Morikawa. Obviously played really well. He was 3 of 6 inside of 12 feet today on the par 3s and par 4s. Victor Hovland was pretty decent. Not as good as Morikawa, but decent. So he's okay for a spend up. And again, Cantley doesn't look good. He across everything else, he looks terrible. But we know Cantley can play, and he can definitely play this golf course. So I'm very tempted to play Cantley, and hopefully there's significant leverage. I mean, like 15% less owned than Morikawa. So we'll see how that plays. And he's also in the AM, so it's like a perfect recipe. The other guys down there, I just would go back to guys I wanted to play for the full week. Siwoo Kim played extremely, extremely well today. Tita Green, I would go back to that. Grillo as well. And Keith Mitchell, interestingly enough, played pretty well. No one else really stands out a ton in the numbers that I'm looking at. I guess Higo would be interesting, but he is also going off in the afternoon. So, yeah, there's a lot of afternoon guys. But, yeah, I think Cantley's a nice AM play. And then the rest, I would just play guys I played for the full week, so that are cheap enough. Grillo's got a price decrease. Mitchell's right at the same price. And Siwoo Kim is at the same price. So those three plus Cantley.
Yeah, I really like that Cantley call there. I think he's a near block almost for me going out early. 10-4 is a good price tag there for him. He's higher than Morikawa, 800 more, so I think he will come in at lower owned. Hopefully,
it's expensive, but he could shoot -5, man. I mean, this is his place. So
yeah. What do you have for a percentage of good iron shots by Morikawa? I was just wondering. I see he's at plus 4.5 strokes approach for the total. I assume he had to hit a ton of good shots.
It's a lot. You want to take a guess? I'll give you two guesses real quick.
94%.
You're close. Higher.
Higher. Whoa. 97.
100%.
Holy cow.
He gained on 100% of his approach shots. He only gained on 64% of his tee shots. But yeah, he gained on every single approach shot that he hit today against the field. Like I said, 3 of 6 inside of 12 feet, 6 shots inside of 12 feet on the par 3s and par 4s. I mean, the dude was great. I think in total, including the par 5s, he made 4 of 9 looks at it instead of 12 feet. So pretty solid. I mean, obviously 100% is, I'm not sure I've even seen that before.
I think he left a lot out there on the par 5s as well, making par on 3 of the 4. So
yeah,
I mean, he's definitely a guy I would consider in the PM. I generally don't like to play him in very windy conditions. I don't think it's going to be super windy though.
No, he's a tough one. Like I said, I think there's an argument to be made. Cantley outplays him.
I think so, yeah.
And he's going to be lower owned. I think guys plug in Morikawa, and he looks like a great play, and he probably is. But unless you can play them both together, that's probably optimal, I guess. But I think he's going to be a little bit too chalky for my liking. And he did play great, but he also hasn't played that well in the greens in quite a while. And his putter can still let us down. So, like I said, I kind of want the leverage spot there. It's weird. It's like, when you see really good signs, you kind of want to swerve off of it. And for a guy like, I'll just bring up Cantley again. We know what Cantley can do, and you see a bad round, you kind of jump right back to it. And he gets the AM wave, like, give it to me. So, but you're right, Morikawa, man, that's a good number. 100% approaches positive. That's pretty solid.
That's got to be. I don't know if I've ever.
You can't be better. You can't be better. So.
Looking into Grillo more here, I really like that call. I was kind of interested to see how he's going to kind of bounce back off that win. His first 7 holes today, he lost strokes putting and then kind of got the putter going as it went. So that's kind of interesting.
He made nothing.
Pop that up and see first 7 holes are minus strokes gained putting, but he battled back with 3 straight birdies to end it without any bogeys. So I think he's definitely in play. He's going to go out later, but that's still fine. Siwoo Kim was the guy I was on. I'll probably go back to him some. I really like Tyrrell Hatton as well. I was high on him coming into the week. I was overweight on him.
Yeah.
And what's his price here? 9.4. So he didn't really move that much. I like Hatton over Morikawa even. Hopefully he comes in under him as well. So he played really good today outside of the 12th hole that he doubled. Otherwise, he was real strong today. I think he's the guy that goes out there. He's going out in the morning as well, 7:53. I think he's the guy that can go out there and shoot 4 under tomorrow fairly easy. Almost did it today minus that double. So I like Hatton, Cantley, Siwoo, Grillo as well. I think we're pretty much right on lockstep there in this.
Well, it's interesting. It's really interesting. Like really quick, like on Morikawa, everyone's so optimistic. You see such good approach play, and they expect that to be the same tomorrow, and then putting better.
Yeah.
But I mean, more times than not, he's going to probably hit it worse. Most likely going to hit it worse, with his irons, and putt the same, and he shoots worse. like realistically, and he gets the afternoon. So, just trying to paint a picture. It's like I said, he played great today. He looks like a great play, but again, there's a lot of recipes for disaster in terms of like other pivots you can make. Terrell Hatton's a good one. Again, I'll just keep reiterating Cantley, but yeah, I mean, who's to say Morikawa doesn't hit it a little bit worse and then putts the same, and he shoots 2 over par? Like, it can very well happen. And in the afternoon with a little bit of extra wind, who knows? So, yeah, don't be afraid to get a little bit different, especially off of like the elite guys. Like, yeah, if it was 6,800 and he played bad, that's not something to jump on board with. But yeah, Cantley doesn't look great. Plays in the AM. Give it to me.
Definitely like that. And Morikawa lost 1-stroke putting. I mean, he's got a full range where he can lose 3 strokes putting tomorrow. I mean,
I know exactly. He could putt worse and hit it a little worse. I don't want to wish that on because he's in my main lineup, but that can certainly happen.
He's one of my main guys, so hopefully it doesn't happen. But diving down into this even range, we got some guys here. Fowler was another guy. He came in super high owned again this week. Starts off with a double, but played a lot better as he got going there. We got like a JJ Spahns here. We got Lee Hodges, who gained almost 4 strokes approach and lost over 3 with the flat stick there. Sam Stevens continues to play pretty solid golf. He's right there. Some other guys here at even par. Rory, that was an interesting deal there. He was right up at the lead and then just makes an absolute disaster of a hole 18. I watched it right there. I mean, he hits his tee shot into the side face of a bunker, chunks it out. I think he airmailed the second one, had a couple chips, had a couple putts. He missed a couple putts today. On 16, he missed a putt that was like 2 foot. Lifted out, missed a couple more on 18. I mean, he was kind of scrambling. I watched some of his shots today. Like, I seen a lot of times where he'd line up, then he'd step away from his. He just was like undecisive and uncertain what he was doing today. So that was kind of interesting. Our guy, Ches Reavy here. I played a little Ches at like 6,200. He's shot even par. I don't know if he can do that tomorrow, but it's kind of interesting to see. I played a little bit of him. What are you seeing here with these even golfers here?
Yeah, I mean, Rory gets a price decrease, 9,900. I mean, it's hard not to go back to some Rory if you can fit him in at 9,900. Again, I did watch a little bit of his round today. He drove it extremely, extremely well. He did hit a few good iron shots, I would argue, that got unlucky. Ran through the green, had some tough up and downs. So I think Rory, obviously, outside of the triple, had 2 or 3 shots lower, but potentially today anyway. So I think Rory's a good spin up, and teeing off in the morning, maybe a little bit of redemption off of getting pissed off after the triple. So good with Rory. Hideki I played some of this week. I like him quite a bit. I'll go back to Hideki. Been on, played a good bit of him and played really well. I mean, the guy's been playing well for a couple weeks now. Sam Stevens and Ben Griffin. So those are really it, man. I don't really feel comfortable. I didn't play any Ches, so that's probably easier for me to say. But and then Lee Hodges, the numbers look okay, but he's one of those that he gets these spurts and then he kind of regresses pretty immediately. So I'm okay to sit it out and wait. And I'm gonna have so much salary to spend anyway, so I'm okay with it. But yeah, I think again it's a good. And some of these guys aren't that expensive. Like Ben On's not that expensive, but Ben Griffin's in the 6Ks as well. So give me Hideki, give me Rory, and some Ben On.
Yeah, I really liked how Ben On battled back today. I mean, he started pretty bad there, 3 over through his first 5 holes. Makes a couple birdies right after that double. Battles back strong, gets back to even. So I like Benny On there as well. He goes out in the afternoon tomorrow. Yeager's right there. He's been a play for us. He goes out in the morning as well. Ben Griffin's in the morning. I don't think I'm going to get the Griffin, though. I may play some.
You don't need him. There's no really hot plays in this range necessarily, but those are just the ones that stood out. I think there's so much salary to spend. Play Rory, 900, man. Yeah. And Hideki at Elite Hideki, and he's won this event. Like, again, go back to Hideki, 8,400. So,
if I was gonna play like a Rory Cantley Hatton lineup, I'd probably plug Ches in there just for a salary guy. I think that's interesting there if you want to play all 3 of those studs. I don't mind getting the Ches. I think he's got some upside, man. 6,300. He doesn't have to do too much. If he can go out there and score 30 DK points, I think that'll be well enough for you to get there.
Yeah.
Diving into this +1 range, a lot of bad putters here in this range. Majority of this range lost strokes putting today and gained approach today. Brant Snedeker was someone I think you guys talked about a little bit or just brought his name up, or someone brought his name up somewhere.
Someone tweeted it to AP, I think, because he came back this week. I think someone tweeted it to AP.
Yeah. I didn't play any of him, but he's right there. I played some Neesmith. He was another cheap 6.5K on the main slate was the guy I was going at. What's his price here? 6.7, a little bit of an increase. 7.17 a tee time. I kind of like him. Some going out tomorrow. What's sticking out to you here at this +1 range? You like any like Joseph Bramlett or anything?
I don't. Bramlett's okay, but I think if I'm going to play someone down this range, it's going to be AM focused. So Bezadenhout and Thomas Dietrich are two guys that I have my eye on for sure. Bramlett's okay. His actually the irons were pretty good. He was 6 shots inside of 18 feet, 4 inside of 12 feet. He only made one of those. He was only, throughout the whole, on all his approaches, he was 1 for 2 inside of 6 feet, 1 for 4 inside of 12 feet. So like he only made one putt basically today, and it happened to be inside of 6 feet. So a lot to be had from Bramlett potentially. But again, I think Bezadenhout I've played so much of, and he's just so consistent. And I don't know, I don't see like this golf course being. It's obviously not going to be like, shoot 8 under par. So I think Bezadenhout certainly has 4 under par in him, and that's kind of where I want to go. To be honest, no one else in this range stands out to me. All the other guys are well below the field average in most of their proximity numbers. ZJ, Snedeker, Lanto Griffin, Batia. So yeah, it's the top 3 for me is really Bezadenhout, Dietrich, and then Bramlett.
Yeah, right on. I do like some Neesmith. I do like that.
Neesmith's
he goes out at 7 a.m. He's like the first tee time off, so definitely we'll have him in the pool for sure. Kind of going down what we got here.
And I'm not afraid of putting. Like the guy that gains strokes putting, that's not a problem. I like I said, I look at how he actually played, proximity wise, because I just think that's a better carryover for Showdown. And he could have struck it better. He didn't strike it the best, but he still had a lot of. He was above the field in birdie look. So yeah, that's kind of what I look at. So I look at him kind of like we talked about Morikawa. He has more room for improvement than. That was a ceiling round and he could only go down. So we'll see how it goes. Maybe he puts the same and hits it a little better.
Yeah, for sure. Getting into this +2 range here, we got Sky the Kid right here at +2. Lost 3 strokes putting once again. It's just kind of like what he does every round. It seems like he just crushes it tee to green and gives it all away on the greens. He's at +2. Cameron Young's at +2. He couldn't make a putt either. That's normal for him. He was actually good. A tee to green today. I'm not sure if I'll get there. Russell Henley's another name here. I played some Henley on the main slate. I don't think I've played really any of these other guys. So 2 gloves, Aaron Rise down here. Any of these +2 guys too. I did play some Brandon Wu though on the main slate. He had a wild day. Looking at his scorecard, he had a lot of boxes and circles, which is not bad for Showdown, but too many mistakes, it looks like, from Mr. Wu today.
Yeah, I had some Brandon Wu too. I did like him. He actually did okay, decent numbers proximity wise, and made a fair share of them. So I won't go back to him for Showdown. But the guys at the top there, you talked about Russell Henley. Across the board looks bad, but I think a lot of it was driven by a poor driver. His greens and regulation were below the field, but ironically, his proximities were better than the field by like 10%. Like he was 0-4 inside of 12 feet, 0-7 inside of 18 feet. So I'm tempted to go to Henley and assume he just drives it a little bit better and his irons stay hot and he makes, a couple putts. He's expensive, but I do like it.
I see a couple. I just pulled up his scorecard. He hit 2 drives today. They didn't even go 220 yards. The drive on the 15th, the par 5, his drive only went 210 yards.
That's like a top.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Wow. I don't even know what happened there.
The other guy in here, Kirk, is in a similar boat. He does get the AMT time at 8:24. He had a similar round to Henley. Didn't drive it great, but again, the proximities look pretty good. So I wouldn't mind that. Other than that, man, there's really not super excited about anyone at +2s. There's really no one in this range I played for the full week anyways. Like, I wasn't high on Aaron Rye. I know he was a pretty chalky play in high stakes, but yeah, to be honest, the +2s, there's nothing for me. I guess Molinax maybe is a fringe play, but that's it.
Yeah, I think Molnex is fine for showdown formats. He's got a pretty high variant game. I don't see myself really getting to any of these guys. I mean,
Yeah,
you can always play like Keegan Bradley in showdown if you want, just because you know he's liable to shoot 65, but he's also liable to shoot like 88, like our boy Ramey did today. So that's always on the table.
There's better plays that played well today that you can just kind of tailgate a bit. So
yeah.
I think you could avoid this range for the most part. As far as Scheffler, I mean, he's gonna be maybe a little bit lower owned at 11 too, playing poorly. I don't know, but yeah, it's hard to figure out the ownership in showdown for like a guy like Scheffler. He's not in the lead. He didn't really like exactly stripe it. I know for the most part, he played okay tee to green, but I don't know. I feel like people can play better lineups, and maybe they do, or maybe they don't. I don't know, but I won't play any Scheffler. I'll pass.
I will not be going back to Scotty on the showdown for tomorrow. I bet he does still see like 20% ownership though, just based off the name alone. I could see that.
I don't think he's better than $1,000 decrease to Rory McIlroy or to John Rahm by $800 or whatever it is. So again, trying to use a little bit of ownership, but he's just not better. Who's that?
Or Cantley,
exactly. So, I mean, in a vacuum for a full week, sure. I mean, it's probably worth the price increase, but for one round, it doesn't make sense to me. These guys are like literally like two tenths of a stroke difference, maybe less throughout the season. So like for a showdown, it just doesn't add up. So yeah, no Scheffler tomorrow.
Definitely, yeah, I agree there. Getting into this +3 range, there's a couple of names here. Some people were getting talked up a little bit. Gary Woodland was getting talked up a little bit in some areas. Adam Schenk was a name that was getting talked up a little bit in some areas. Eric Cole.
Schenk finished second last week. I mean, of all the people, he was in good shape. I don't know how he finished. It must have been abysmal, but I mean, he was tied for the lead at one point, right?
He had
pretty sure he was -4.
Yeah, he had a wild scorecard there. He had a really good front nine for himself, and then his ninth hole he bogeys, and then he actually played his last 10 holes at 6 over par. So it was a rough stretch for him coming down the stretch. But
yeah.
And Justin Thomas is another guy that, man, he started out fine. He was 2 under through 7, and then just the wheels fell off there. I seen the shot on number 9. He had a really bad putt there, and I think the wheels just fell off there. He had a couple other shots, bad iron shots on 15 where he made bogey on that par 5. He ends up shooting a 40. He actually shot 5 over on his last 10 holes. Anything here at the +3 for you? I don't think I'm going to get to anyone here in this +3 range either, really.
I honestly don't. No. I mean, there's some guys that I looked at for the full week, but they didn't show me anything today. There's no reason to kind of double down on them. Guys like Woodland or Eric Cole. So yeah, I don't have anybody here at +3.
Yeah, same here. We can just skip right into this +4 range. Jason Day was a name that was kind of talked up a little bit throughout the week. I didn't end up getting there. Fitzpatrick makes birdie on his final hole. Fitzpatrick's scorecard was absolutely wild today. Had 5 bogeys, a triple, a double, and then 6 birdies. So I mean, there was very few pars made by Fitzpatrick today. That was a pretty wild scorecard there by him. Thigala's here at +4. He was a kind of a name coming into the week as well. JT Poston, that was the workbench. He was playing all right through 2 holes. And then
that's how it goes.
Yeah. But anything you like here, +4, Kurt Kitayama is there. He's a par 5 scorer. He had a really bad stretch, holes 12 through 17. He played at 5 over. Anything here, a +4 for you?
Not really. Fitz, even despite his round, I haven't been big on Fitz this year. The other guys in here, I mean, I honestly wouldn't argue against. Let's see where their tee times are. Like Tagala, he didn't really play. None of these guys played well today. Obviously, they shot +4. But for guys that you've looked at for the current year, and you as in just the general viewership, Tagala, who's down at the bottom. That's pretty much it, I guess. Kitayama, like you said, but he's teeing off in the afternoon. So yeah, for me, I guess Tagala would be someone I would maybe just take a shot on in GPPs, but there's no one in here that I would plug into single entry just like as a single lineup. So
yeah,
I mean, as we go down the board, it gets worse and worse in terms of like what you're holding on to. It's like I said, I wouldn't argue against anybody playing Fitz or Tagala necessarily, even with Tagala playing much worse than even Fitzpatrick tee to green. So yeah, look for guys that if you want to just get different, that's where you get different.
Yeah, for sure. We can kind of just round this out with the rest of this range here. I don't really see too many guys here. I was overweight on a few of these guys. Very hurtful performances by like Connors, Fox, Harmon. Some of my guys are down here just absolutely did not play well today. I think I'm going to be off of all these guys. Alex Smalley was a kind of a name getting talked up a little bit. Kuchar was down there. Billy Horschel with the 12 over, with Chad Ramey with the 16 over. I feel confident I could have beat both of those guys today, but what's your thoughts on the bottom end of this leaderboard?
Yeah, anyone like +7 and worse, definitely not. There's a couple guys that I could argue for GPPs, but the main guy that I would want to point to is Taylor Pendrith. So he did shoot +5 today, but the dude played pretty well, tee to green, all things considered. He gained on 86% of his approach shots. He was 1 of 7. He 1 for 7 inside of 18 feet, and he played the par 5s at 2 under par. He just had some others in there. So if you want to, he's not super cheap, but if you want to kind of take a shot on someone that's played terrible and maybe gunning to make a cut, shoot 5 under par tomorrow, Taylor Pendrith is like the one of the few that really stand out. The other one that stands out is Peter Malnati, but I just don't see how he's going to continue his iron play with how he's driving it. So I'll pass on Malnati. But yeah, like I said, Taylor Pendrith.
He must have hit it in the water a couple times on 12 or something. He took a quad on the par 3. I'm not sure how that transpired, but that will mess up the stats for sure on that hole.
Yeah, and again, my stats, I kind of take out like the biggest and the biggest gain and the biggest loss to try to find like where did he actually play good for the majority of his round. And I have him gaining strokes on approach and off the tee for Pendrith. Are you talking Pendrith or are you talking?
Yeah, Pendrith.
Yeah, Pendrith. So I have him gaining off the tee and on approach. And like I said, like the proximities outside of that are pretty good. 7 shots inside of 18 feet on these greens is pretty solid. And really, from what I could tell today, the greens were pretty firm in the afternoon. So he does get a PM tee time, but like I said, there's no one else down here that I would really point to. But Pendrith kind of stands out as an interesting one. I'll probably play some, and just hopefully he shoots 5 under par. We've seen him play good on tough golf courses, so yeah, that's pretty much it, man.
Yeah, I think that pretty much rounds us out for us here. We can end the show by giving the people a core here. We're both confident in Cantlay there, so we could use Cantlay, and then we'll each give one guy to round out a three-man core here tonight. Who do you like for the second guy? I'm sure you're fine with starting it with Cantlay, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm good with that. So I think the next guy that I would throw in there, let's see. I guess it depends on where you want to go, but I kind of got a good feeling on Matsuyama this week. So I'll say Matsuyama at 8,700 teeing off at 7:41 a.m.
Yeah, that's solid. See if I can find a value guy that I like going out.
I don't want to throw you under the bus to find a value guy, but
no, it's all good.
Matsuyama is interesting this week.
Yeah, I like it. Where was that one guy?
How cheap are you looking? Like 6Ks or 7Ks?
Yeah, I was just kind of looking at 7K range or 6.
I mean, Lipsky's down there at 6,500, but maybe you weren't going to go there.
You can go with our guy Lipsky. Let's keep rolling out Lipsky there. At 60. He's going out at 712.
Might as well. Like I said, AM. I would round out a lineup with AM guys, so it kind of fits our model right there.
Train and rolling. Then it worked out last week. Let's just keep it rolling into this week.
It did.
Played great today. Goes out super early tomorrow. No pressure really on him yet, so I like that for sure. Played great. Besides that double he had on 16, that par 3. So definitely like that. So Cantley, Hideki, and then Lipsky there to round out the core. Any final thoughts to you then if you round this out?
No, I don't. I would just recommend everyone come check out the Run Pure NBA Showdown content and MLB content, because obviously they're going to be pushing out some big contests. So the guys did a great job of putting out cores today, and a lot of versatility in where I should put my mind to a lineup construction. So kudos to the team. But as far as PGA Showdown, play the AM guys, get a little bit different, and ship it. Shit.
Yeah. I'll have the Showdown playbook over on the site here soon. I'll have an expensive tier, a mid tier, and a cheap tier with the core plays up top, and then a slate strategy on the bottom there. We'll be in Discord as well, answering any questions you guys have. Head on over to Run Pure Sports. Use that promo code Summer33, not Snyder. We got a better one for you guys right now. Summer33. That's going to get you 33% off. More than double our old promo, and it even includes SaberSim, which is very, very rare to see an optimizer included in the promo here. So head on over, Run Pure Sports, join the movement with us. That's going to do it for us tonight, though. For Drew, I'm Snyder. Always Run Pure.